I think an interesting thing about this Chiefs-Ravens game that's coming up this weekend, both these defensive coordinators are known for blitzing in terms of like how they're able to kind of manipulate protection plans to get free runners down the middle of the offensive line. How are you guys preparing for that and making sure you're on your P's and Q's going to the game?
Yeah, again, and it comes down to situation. Mike McDonald, the defense coordinator of Baltimore, and then Staggs for Kansas City, they have certain areas where they like sending pressure, simulated pressure more than others. And so we have to be attuned to that and try to stay out of those situations by, making smart decisions on first, second down. But then, in those moments, like, all right, where does he like to send pressure from? Is it all from the same level? Where they walk guys up all on the line of scrimmage, or they're, if we have a condensed formation, they like to disguise, secondary pressure and stuff like that. And so we're preparing all week for the specific type and the side they'll bring it from. We kind of earmark guys who are better off blitzers. So the guys who they're trying to hide and not having coverage on critical downs where they'd rather he's a better blitzer. We're thinking about, who are our main rushers on the defensive line, because sometimes they only have 3 real defensive linemen out there. So we're thinking big on big first, and then who are the other 2 after that. And so from game to game, Patrick Queen's a guy who is athletic enough to do both, but tendency-wise, something is borne out in the stats. So they've got people who break that down. If we're just on the same page, Patrick and Lamar know where it's coming from, and the receivers have their heads up, the answers can be there. And sometimes the answer is just a 4-yard route where you get the ball in his hands, and then you hopefully get some yak. You live to fight another down, but they just wasted a blitz. They just put themselves in harm's way by having one-on-ones on the outside. They brought 0, and they've got, man all the way across the board. That's a potential explosive if one guy misses a tackle. And so there's risk and reward. And so we're just doing our best to be prepared for who are the most likely. And then between us and the quarterback, you emphasize where you'd like to go. If you're, right-handed, you want to roll right, you want to bleed right, or in this instance, you want to bleed left, depending on the hash, depending on if we're in red zone, low red, all that stuff. So it can get really granular, and, sometimes it feels overwhelming, but there's still patterns. There's still only so many calls you can make, and so we break down their tendencies, and we prepare for the most likely and get ready for any adjustments they might make.